For decades, the arrival of the Sears Wishbook in late August or early September wasn't just another piece of mail. It was a seasonal announcement, a glossy, heavy thud on the porch that told millions of American families the holidays had officially begun. Before Black Friday ads, before online wish lists, before the algorithm decided what we wanted, there was this one book, a book that felt like it contained the entire world. Across the country, families built traditions around it. In some homes, kids sprinted to the mailbox the moment they heard the postal truck. In others, parents tucked the book away until after dinner, knowing full well that once it appeared, the evening's plans were over. Every household had its own rules. Some insisted that no one could circle anything until everyone had taken a turn. Others embraced the chaos and let the kids dive in immediately. Children would sprawl across the living room floor, markers in hand, and begin the sacred ritual of choosing. Pages were folded, dog-eared, and worn until the book doubled in thickness. If a page tore, that was a crisis, because you only got one wish book a year. That scarcity made it feel almost enchanted. Kids made wish collages by cutting out pictures. Others hid the book under their bed so siblings couldn't steal their page numbers. Parents quietly compared prices, planned layaway purchases, or scribbled notes for Christmas morning. Grandparents mailed clipped pages to relatives as hints. The wish book wasn't just a catalog, it became part of the household landscape, and each edition captured the mood of its moment. The post-war optimism of the 1950s, filled with modern appliances and suburban dreams. The space race fantasies of the 1960s, with astronaut suits and rocket toys. The electronic revolution of the 1970s, with Pong consoles and early calculators. The branded toy explosion of the 1980s, Transformers, Cabbage Patch Kids, Nintendo, all laid out in glossy color. At its peak in 1992, the wish book reached 834 pages. For much of the 20th century, it was described as second only to the Bible in American homes. Yet just 1 year later, Sears shut down the entire catalog division. The iconic wish book shrank into a 2.5-inch novelty pamphlet before disappearing entirely. How did the most beloved retail ritual in America vanish almost overnight? The story begins in 1886 with a 22-year-old railway agent named Richard Sears. His career in retail started by accident, when a shipment of unwanted gold watches arrived at his station. Sears bought them, resold them, and realized he had stumbled onto something bigger than a side hustle. He had a natural gift for marketing, witty, conversational catalog copy that made rural customers feel like they were dealing with a trusted friend. By 1896, the U.S. Postal Service introduced rural free delivery, and Sears recognized an opportunity no one else had fully grasped. Suddenly, he could bypass general stores, many of which had limited stock and high prices, and ship a massive catalog directly to rural families. The big book quickly grew into a 500-plus page bridge between remote America and the wider world. This wasn't just a catalog. It was a window into modern life. Sears sold everything. Complete kit houses, 70 to 100,000 of them, along with clothing, tools, livestock supplies, violins, and even items that seem shocking today, like $1.50 heroin kits and arsenic complexion wafers, all perfectly legal at the time. Sears homes, in particular, helped shape American suburbia. They arrived by rail car as bundles of lumber, nails, wiring, plumbing, and blueprints. Everything needed to build a modern home. Entire neighborhoods sprang up from Sears kits, and many of those houses still stand today, now considered architectural treasures. To keep up with demand, Sears built one of the largest distribution centers in the world. So large it had its own railway spur and even its own zip code. They were shipping millions of packages a year before UPS even existed. For rural families, the catalog wasn't just convenient, it was empowering. It offered access to goods they'd only heard about, democratizing consumer choice and making remote America feel connected to the modern world. Then, in 1933, in the depths of the Great Depression, Sears launched its first dedicated Christmas catalog. It featured Lionel trains, dolls, chemistry sets, and even live singing canaries. It was printed in color, a luxury at the time, and families began saving old wish books in attics and closets, treating them like scrapbooks of childhood. Meanwhile, the wish book was quietly reshaping American life. During the Jim Crow era, black customers used the mail order system to avoid discriminatory local merchants who refused to serve them or forced them to wait until every white customer had been helped. Ordering from Sears meant dignity. No humiliation, no price gouging, no racist gatekeeping. Sears even designed the system to protect anonymity. Customers could pay with money orders instead of dealing with local banks, and packages arrived without requiring face-to-face interaction. Prices were standardized nationwide, so no one could be charged more because of who they were. This disruption was so profound that some white store owners organized public bonfires to burn Sears catalogs in protest. The catalog was so embedded in daily life that when Sears switched to glossy paper, rural families wrote letters complaining that the new pages were no longer suitable as toilet paper in outhouses. Some households kept old catalogs specifically for bathroom use. A reminder of just how universal the book was. Across classrooms, teachers used the Wishbook for math lessons, asking students to circle items under $10. Kids cut out pictures to make homemade Christmas lists. It appeared in movies, sitcoms, and family scrapbooks. It influenced advertising too. Sears pioneered aspirational marketing, using staged photography to create emotional scenes long before modern magazines or Instagram ads. The Wishbook didn't just reflect American culture, it helped shape it. Beyond toys and holiday traditions, the Wishbook played a much larger role in shaping the country. It helped invent something we now take for granted: American consumer culture. Before Sears, most people bought only what they needed: flour, tools, fabric, hardware. Shopping was practical, local, and limited. But the Wishbook introduced a new idea: wanting things simply because they sparked joy. For the first time, families could browse hundreds of pages of products they never knew existed. Children learned to dream in color. Parents imagined modern kitchens, new wardrobes, or the latest gadgets. The catalog didn't just show what was available, it showed what was possible. It taught Americans how to compare products, how to evaluate features, how to imagine a better version of their lives. Sears also helped normalize something revolutionary: buying on credit. Their store card was the first credit account many families ever had. Installment plans made big purchases feel attainable. The Wishbook quietly shifted the country from a save-then-buy mindset to a buy-and-pay over time culture. It was the beginning of the modern American relationship with spending, aspiration, and desire. In many ways, the Wishbook was the blueprint for everything that came later: department stores, malls, infomercials, online shopping, and even the way websites recommend products today. It didn't just reflect American consumerism, it helped create it. And when the Wishbook disappeared, it wasn't just the end of a catalog. It was the end of the era that taught America how to shop, how to dream, and how to imagine the future. By 1973, Sears stood at the height of its power. The company opened the Sears Tower, then the tallest building in the world. Its credit cards were in 60% of American households. Sears was the largest employer in the United States, and its distribution center was one of the busiest logistical hubs on the planet. The Wishbook kept growing year after year as the country's unofficial archive of desire. But by the early 1990s, the retail world had changed. Walmart's rise was swift and brutal. Its high-volume, low-cost model undercut Sears at every turn. In 1991, Sears lost its title as America's top retailer for the first time in decades. Inside the company, an identity crisis was unfolding. Instead of doubling down on retail, Sears tried to reinvent itself as a financial services empire. They bought Dean Witter. They bought Coldwell Banker. They poured resources into everything except the stores that made them famous. Meanwhile, competitors modernized, streamlined, and expanded. The catalog division, once the crown jewel, was bleeding money. It still brought in billions in revenue, but it was losing up to $175 million a year. Producing the Wishbook required thousands of employees, months of planning, photography, layout, and printing. It was one of the largest single publications produced annually in the United States. But the world was changing faster than the catalog could keep up. On January 25, 1993, CEO Arthur Martinez made the call. Sears would kill the big book. The announcement wiped out 50,000 jobs and devastated small-town catalog stores that had relied on the foot traffic for generations. Some owners described the shutdown as losing a family member. Others kept their final Wishbook on display for years, like a memorial to a vanished era. And then came the twist of fate. In 1994, just 1 year after Sears abandoned the mail order model it had invented and perfected, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon. Sears even had an early online service, Prodigy, and the warehouses, logistics, and brand trust to dominate e-commerce. But leadership didn't see the internet as a retail platform. They stepped away from the very future they helped create. The final traditional Wishbook appeared in 2011. By 2018, Sears filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The era was over. Today, the 800-plus page Wishbook has been replaced by digital algorithms that show us what we already want. Vintage copies now sell for $100 or more on eBay, bought by people trying to reclaim a piece of childhood. And while modern retailers like Target, Amazon, and even Lego still release holiday toy catalogs, none of them carry the weight of the original. The Wishbook helped define what the American Christmas felt like for nearly a century. We gained convenience, but we lost the shared ritual. That moment when the whole family gathered around a single object and dreamed together. Psychologists call it anticipatory nostalgia, the joy of looking forward to something long before it arrives. The Wishbook created that feeling every year. If you grew up circling toys in the Sears Wishbook, tell us the one item you always hope to find under the tree. And if you enjoy these deep dives into the not-so-distant past, hit subscribe. It helps us keep these stories alive.